There's something special about this game, but it's not the cars. They're about as predictable as a shopping trolley. And it's not the broken Dyson they got in to record the sound either. It's not even the graphics, which make my 3080 beg for something easy to run, like Cyberpunk on RT Psycho. Could it be the UX that is so brilliantly implemented it only took me 10 minutes to get my wheel working? Whatever it is, I like it. Just like I like this segue to our sponsor. I want to be clear right up front that this game is not finished. It's not even close. It was first announced in July 2022 for a rapid release in December of the same year. Of course that never happened, and it speaks volumes about the inexperience of the developers. Considering the significant limitations of the initial demo, it's just mind-blowing that they targeted a release only 5 months down the track. But I think it's this same naivety that is part of the charm. Vertex is basically a passion project by two Hong Kong brothers, Jason and Pluto Mock, and of course their friends. They grew up on racing games and then took that knowledge to the track, even taking podiums at some fairly high-level races around Macau. Their first steps into sim development were mods, most prominently this mod here for AC, which doesn't run at all for me. But shout out to Marco Chan for his clean footage of what could almost be considered to be an alpha version of Rev to Vertex. Though not really. At first glance, when you see the footage of Route Twisk on AC, the road in which Rev to Vertex is based, you might think that they are just taking the track, making some tweaks and releasing it as a whole new game. But when you put the games side by side, you can see that while a lot of the models look familiar, a significant amount of the map has been remade from scratch for Rev to Vertex. But what's even better is putting the game side by side with Google Maps. Right off the start we have this house-looking thing right before the twisty bit with the pole things in the middle of the road. I would make a great tour guide. I could tell you all about this bridge-looking thing, then follow that up with this apartment-looking thing where people probably live. But in all seriousness, the road is a good replica of its real-life counterpart, and they've nailed all the major landmarks, even if the vegetation isn't quite a match. This tricky intersection, it's there. The apartment block again is there. Guys stealing leaves, not there. But we have cubes, all the right turns, pagodas, rest areas, and they're all beautifully modelled. It makes me want to go visit this place for real, but then I think, well, I've kind of already visited, haven't I? And it's not just the landmarks that impress. There are tons of camber changes, bumps and traffic islands. It really feels like a road rather than a racetrack, which is a breath of fresh air in today's market. And this street focus will seemingly extend to the gameplay too. The 2 demos released so far have all been simple time attack affairs. It's just you against the track, best time wins. While official information is thin on the ground, all indications point to a tollgate type battle game, which scares me a little bit because of this. They have on staff a character artist. I hate characters in racing games, especially Sarah. I mean, we're back to numbered games in the series, it's gonna be amazing, but one thing's for sure, Sarah and Rupert, you two can just I fear them planning out a game with these generic cardboard cutout enemy characters babbling nonsense between races. The only characters I want to see in a racing game are the Devil Zed and maybe Reiko. But hey, let's wait and see what they deliver on that front. Whatever the final gameplay loop is going to be, one thing it's not going to be is bouncing off the walls, because that is a brilliant way to end your career. Damage in this game already blows many other sims out of the water. Take a look at this mess of data shown down here while we ride the brakes and gun the throttle. As you might expect, the B and T stands for brakes and tires, and the rears are just as toasty as they should be. Not getting damaged though, that's clearly not modelled yet. To damage the car we're gonna need a wall and some speed, which is handy, we have those. Now that's more like it. Look at that ring of red surrounding the car with the orange tyre. And as I try to back out, there goes the rear wing. It really affects the handling, with the damage making the car pull to the left. One amazing barrel roll later and the car's a complete write-off. The suspension is all collapsed, panels are hanging off. It's not quite dead yet though, but it may as well be considering how hard it is to drive. Keep going though and eventually this happens. It's just awesome for a game this early in dev to allow this level of destruction. When the time comes around to do another best damaging racing game videos, this game is going to be really hard to beat. That is, if they keep it up. And that's the whole problem with Rev to Vertex as it stands. There are hints at brilliance everywhere, But for every bit of the game that wows, there are 5 bugs to remind you that there is still such a long way to go. And I haven't even touched on the driving physics yet because, while I can feel the detail there, I also end up spinning off the track backwards thinking, was that really my fault? Anything I can say about it now is going to change as development continues, but as it stands, the physics model seems like one of the least developed aspects of the game. And it's the same story with the graphics, which are amazingly detailed for a PC sim, but suffer from significant performance issues, as well as moments like whatever demonic possession is happening right here. I have a long list of complaints about this game that I'm not even going to get into because it feels beside the point. All we have seen of the game so far is 2 demos and they're not even asking for money yet. I'm making this video not because of what the game is now, but for what I hope the game will be. Rev to Vertex feels like a game that is either going to be a classic or a tragedy. The track is amazing, the visuals are impressive, the damage is epic, and if the developers have the dedication and more importantly are given the time and resources, Rev to Vertex will be truly something special. Or maybe they'll run out of money, rush it, and all this potential will rot on Steam like so many other failed projects that once had huge potential. Time is going to tell, and I'll be watching this one very closely indeed.